Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
Hi there, I'm Ralph behind the camera.
And welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And Ralph, you know what we're fixing up tonight for dinner?
It smells good, whatever it is.
Yes, it's going to be a, like you like to say, a nice comfort food meal.
Isn't this an old recipe? I think I heard you say it was
Yes.
Going back to the 30s or 40s.
Yeah, this is a recipe for Hamburger Pie, okay? Some people call it shepherd's pie. It's the same kind of idea. Basically, it's ground beef baked in a casserole with mashed potatoes on top.
That gets kind of like
A little crusty and yeah, okay?
Sounds good.
So, but what we're starting, the first thing we need to do is make our mashed potatoes, okay? So that's going on back here. Let me turn this down a little bit. So I've got about maybe 2 pounds of russet potatoes that I peeled and cubed, and they chunked them up. Yeah, not too small, but they were big potatoes. But they're boiling away here in salted water until they're tender, and then we'll come back and we'll make the mashed potatoes.
How long does that usually take to get them soft?
Probably maybe about 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes.
All right.
And then we'll come back, and I've just kind of got everything out here for the hamburger part of the hamburger pie. So we've got 1.5 pounds of ground chuck. You know, beef is really expensive right now. Have you noticed?
I haven't been buying it, so I don't know.
It is, and so this is a great way to kind of stretch that meat out a little bit, okay, with some other things, because we're going to add onions. We're going to add peas and carrots.
Ooh.
Okay, it's going to be in a tomato sauce.
Some nice flavorings.
Yeah, some flavorings.
Seasonings.
And we're going to kind of put it all together, like I said, in a casserole, and then put our potatoes on top. And it's kind of a meal in one.
Yeah.
You have your meat, your vegetables, and your potatoes all together.
So like each bite, you'll be getting what you might normally get in separate bites.
Exactly. So that's what we're doing. So step 1, making the mashed potatoes, and when those are ready, we'll come back and we'll put our mashed potatoes.
How are the taters looking?
They are done. So here's how you can test the potato doneness. Just take a fork, and if it easily goes in through the potato into it, then you know that's how you can tell how soft they are.
You mean almost like a toothpick test?
Yeah. You don't want them to be mushy.
But not hard either.
Right.
I've never actually boiled or made mashed potatoes.
Really?
Yeah. So this is all due to me and a good learning experience.
And it's there are you kind of have to boil the potatoes. Sometimes you boil them too long, and the potatoes get what we call waterlogged. They're just mush.
So you have to guard against that.
And you don't want to cook them that long, because then it's too hard. They need to have a certain body, but at the same time they have to be soft enough to be completely smashed up, and so you have to be able to put your fork easily through the potato. So
we're listening to Quincy Jones. We should have found that old folk song, "Boil those taters down, boy, boil those taters down."
I thought that was cabbage.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't there a dance called the mashed potato?
There
or something?
was.
Okay, so hold on. I've got a potato facial going on here.
So you gotta let your glasses clear.
Yeah, but so here's the potatoes. So put them in a colander.
That's a real comfort food smell. I love that. It smells like just home.
Yeah,
mom's
really
kitchens. Yum.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wet paper towel here, because this is what happens. See, look around the pan. You see all that?
That's starch.
That is starch, and that's what you get. And you need starch in mashed potatoes. Starchy potatoes make good mashed potatoes, but I try to take some of that off. Okay. Now.
Oh, because they're going back in?
We're going to put them back in. And putting your mashed potatoes back in the hot pot like this helps to evaporate some of the excess water. See how they're still steaming?
So it keeps them from getting that waterlogged kind of effect, and it also helps continue to steam them and soften them.
Now, basically, there's only 4 things you need to put in mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Now,
Butter.
I got about 3 tablespoons of butter here.
More butter, more better.
Exactly. So butter's a must. This is milk. I got about a half a cup of milk here. We'll see. I might have to put in some more.
Don't sometimes people put cream or cheese or...
You could put cream. You could put cream cheese if you wanted to.
Depends on how decadent you want your taters.
Yep. You want to put in some
A
salt.
couple sprinkles of salt
Now,
brings
I'll
out
tell
the
you,
flavor.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that the water was salted that the potatoes boiled in. Always do it in salted water. Then I like to put in white pepper. And I only like to put in white pepper because white pepper doesn't really show up.
But it gives it a nice zing.
Yeah, it gives it, you get the pepperiness, but you don't get all the black flecks. Now, normally I would just mash this up with a potato masher, right? Okay.
Right, old-fashioned style, like they did in
Like
the
this.
30s and 40s, yeah.
Okay. But I want these kind of a little extra on the fluffy side because they're going to be our topping for our casserole. So I'm going to use a mixer here.
Casserole, you mean pie?
Or a hamburger pie, yeah. So I'm going to just do it right in the pot with my hand mixer and get these nice and fluffy. That butter's melting. Oh my gosh. How good does that smell?
It looks and smells really good. It looks like we're on to the second part of the hamburger pie.
Yeah, we're going to brown the meat. Now I'm just putting a couple tablespoons of olive oil here.
Into a nice cast iron
A
skillet.
cast iron skillet. And we'll get that kind of around in the pan here. So we're gonna brown and crumble our hamburger. So this is ground chuck, by the way. You could use whatever ground meat, ground beef that you particularly like.
Wait, we didn't go back to finish the potatoes, did we?
Well, the potatoes are done. They're just gonna hang out here and kind of cool down a little bit.
They do look fluffy.
Yeah.
Did you test them?
Yes.
So they're good?
They're good. They're good on seasoning, so we're good to go there. Mostly lump free, but you know what? When I get a little lump in a mashed potatoes, I know they're the real deal.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what? For some people, it's easier to just use instant mashed potatoes, and that's fine too if you want to use it. But I had some potatoes, so I just thought, let's cook them up. Okay, so we're going to get this. I can start to smell the olive oil.
Don't you put the onions in first?
No, actually, I'm going to put the meat in first.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put the onions in
after the
meat.
Because the meat's going to create its own...
See how it start? You might not be, the camera might not pick it up, but it's starting to smoke.
But the meat has its own fat, too, which will help the onions cook, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Now, let me see here if I can find my little spoon that I like to use. Okay.
So the olive oil heated up on the cast iron skillet helps to give the hamburger a quick brown.
A quick sear.
Sear, I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, and we're supposed to be eating olive oil, aren't we?
I don't know. Who can keep up with the trend?
They say it's good. Yeah, who can keep up with it? It's right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my onion. This is a kind of a medium onion diced up. And we're going to put that onion in here.
They say don't eat anything your grandmother wouldn't eat. So I know our grandmothers would eat olive oil, so that's
yeah, they would. All right, we're going to give it a little salt and pepper.
That smells good already. It smells like a nice hamburger joint.
And yeah, onions and hamburgers like great. Okay, we're going to put in our pepper, and then this way the onions kind of cook with the meat. They get that wonderful flavor.
So it puts the oniony flavor into the meat.
Yeah. So if you haven't browned beef before, you can see part of it's already browning, and part of it is too kind of keeping it so that it will crumble. It will kind of crumble apart. Yes, as it cooks. And as it cooks, these onions too will soften a little bit. You really have to do this on a medium to medium-high heat.
But you started with a higher heat to get that sear, and then you turned it down, I believe, right?
That's correct. So I'm going to work on getting our meat browned up, okay? Clean up the kitchen a little bit, and we'll come on back.
Looks like he's going to have a sip of wine, too.
Amen.
How's this hamburger helper going?
Well, you can see, take a look. We're pretty much, I'm going to actually shut this off.
So this is what you want? You want it to be crumbled and integrated with the onions,
Yep.
which are translucent
Yes.
and cooked well.
And you just want to, I'm just checking, none of the meat is pink, it's all browned. If you have, this meat's relatively lean. If you had a different kind of hamburger, you might have more fat that you might want to drain off.
Right.
I'm not going to bother, there's not enough here to worry about. But
And that was ground round?
this is ground chuck.
Oh, ground chuck, okay.
Now, yeah, you can see, you mentioned about the onions. See how they're translucent? And when they're translucent, then you know they're nice and soft. All right, here's what I've got. I got a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne for a little hot spice. These are herbs de Provence, okay?
That's French.
French. You could use
Your own personal
thyme
favorite blend.
or some other spice blend if you wanted some other kind of herb. And then this is garlic powder, okay? So we're going to just put our little spices in here. We've already put in the salt and pepper, right?
Right, I
We did
remember.
that early on. Let me get the spices. I like those to get hot because now can you smell them? They get fragrant right
And
away.
it's, I think the reason Kevin is putting them in now as opposed to earlier is because they can kind of cook out if you put them in
Exactly.
too soon.
Now we're going to put in 1 16-ounce can of tomato sauce.
And you could use soup.
You could use tomato soup if you wanted to.
This makes it a little more tomatoey though.
Yeah, tomatoey and not as salty. It's almost like starting to look like a sloppy Joe.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we got 16 ounces of tomato sauce. Now I've got a 12-ounce bag of peas and carrots.
Frozen
here.
peas and carrots. I mean,
Yeah, peas and cues. I'm
pints and quarts.
gonna put about. Let's see.
That looks pretty.
Does that look good? That's probably about half the bag, a little more.
Remember what we said? This is going to be like getting a meal in one. So every bite you're going to get things you would normally have separately.
Exactly. Okay.
I think this recipe you were saying also the original recipe from the 30s or 40s also sometimes uses string beans.
Yeah, you could put frozen string beans in here if you want to. All right, I'm just going to leave that there. Now, I'm going to use, you can use any kind of a baking dish. You probably want at least something that's 2 quarts. I'm going to give this a quick little spray here with some nonstick spray. And we're going to put a little cheese on top, but let's do this first. So let's take our meat mixture.
From the pan to the... Wait, is this going in the oven? Is that why you're putting
Yes.
it in there? Oh.
So we're going to transfer this to
You might
our
need a
baking
bigger
dish.
You might need a bigger spoon.
Well, this might take a few minutes here. I guess, let me do it this way. I'll show it.
We'll show it who's boss.
Exactly. All right. Smells great.
It does.
You could take this in different directions too. If you wanted to make it more, if you wanted to kind of do a Mexican, you could use more Mexican spices, a little chili powder.
Or if you wanted to make it more like a shepherd's pie, maybe more like use lamb and
Yes. You could definitely use different ground meats.
like an Irish stew almost, and
Yeah.
top it with the taters.
Okay. So now we've got our meat mixture in there. Let me just kind of get this off to the side. Now what you can do is we're going to put our potatoes on top. Now you could do this the easy way and just put your potatoes on top. But
Just layer it like you would almost like a pie or a cake or something.
yes. But I'm going to try to do something fancy.
Oh.
This could be a total disaster.
But hey, Julia Child was
would
always
be
one.
Wouldn't be the first disaster we've had in this kitchen.
And we like how Julia Child always was leaving no disaster, not letting a disaster ruin her meal.
You know, cooking is like anything else. You can't be scared. You just got to go for it. I'm gonna.
So what are you doing? Tell people.
All right. So this is this is a pastry bag. Okay. And you can get these. They make like real heavy duty ones that you reuse over and over again. These are disposable ones that I buy, and you usually use them for like icing on cakes, right?
Yeah.
So. And see, look at the little tip. See how it's kind of got that little star shape? I don't know if the camera...
Squirt right in the eye. Isn't that hot? Isn't it going to make
it... It's warm.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, we've let those cool off. They're not...
All right, so what you're doing is making those little cool...
I'm going to try to make a little like this, you see?
What a lunch lady. Go for it.
And then squeeze. Again, this is way more than is necessary, but you know what?
Live it up.
Live it up. I have all these bags, and you know they say we eat with our eyes first, isn't that? And so you can.
I like it, and this does make it seem more like that old-fashioned recipe.
We're gonna I'm gonna go all the way around with my.
So you just do little balls of these florets or whatever you call them.
Yeah, florets.
Little snowballs, little mashed potato balls.
I'm gonna refill here.
So do you just put them on the sides, or
we're going to do the whole thing?
Oh,
okay.
So it does create like a topping, a crust,
yes. Whatever. So I'm going to let me refill my piping bag here,
and then do some more.
And we'll do some more, and we'll have our. We'll come back when I'm done before we put it in the oven, which, by the way, is preheating to 350 degrees. Look at that.
That looks lovely.
Isn't that pretty? Whoa. It's like a bunch of little flowers.
And now what are you going to put on?
I'm going to put on a little paprika just over the top here for color.
And a little bit of
and then
spicy?
Yeah. I mean, paprika, this is, unless you have like a really spicy paprika, it doesn't have a lot of...
It's more decorative?
Yeah. So I wanted to say too, when I was putting the piping on, if you don't have a piping bag and a tip, you can just use a zip bag,
like
a storage bag,
plastic Ziploc bag type of thing.
And just cut the corner of it, and it'll make like a little hole. Don't cut it too big, but then you could do that too.
So does it have to be a strong?
Yeah, I would like a freezer bag, but you don't. So if you don't have the stuff, don't worry about it.
Ooh, and now cheese.
Now I'm just gonna take. This is, you could use whatever. I happen to have mozzarella on hand, so I'm using that. You could use a cheddar. You could use a Swiss, would be wonderful. Any kind of shredded cheese. We're just going to put maybe a half a cup.
And then this goes into the oven to bake for a little bit?
And then again, yes, our oven is heated at 350. We're going to put it in for, let's call it a half an hour, 30 minutes, okay? In she goes.
Well, it's all done almost. It's spring.
All done.
I was going to say it's early spring here in Detroit, but this would be a good winter dish.
And it would be, although it's felt like winter this week.
It's kind of a cold early spring. It's been weird, as it often is in Michigan, but this will be great for warming our.
You know what?
Tummies.
It's always hot in Detroit.
Always.
No matter when. It's smelling good in here.
It sure is.
The timer went off. It's been a half hour. Let's shut the oven off.
Wow. That looks like a food magazine picture.
Isn't that pretty?
Pretty.
Let's just put it.
I like how the cheese has melted on it too.
You can see the bottom sort of bubbling through the little nooks and crannies.
And then the nice toasted tops of the potatoes.
Yeah. And part of the brownness too is from that nice paprika.
Oh, right, yeah.
We're going to take this. Let's put it over here.
Let it cool off on the table.
So we'll set it on the table here. And Yeah, that looks good.
Is it too hot to cut into, or are you going to try?
I'm going to give it a minute, but again, we talked about how we love these meal-in-ones.
Yeah.
So you've got your potatoes, your meat, your vegetable all there. We're having a nice little salad. We've got some rolls from the bakery today, and we're good.
What about that Jiffy sugar?
Jiffy mix. Well, when was it? It was 2 weekends ago.
Took a little road trip.
We took a little road trip from Detroit to Chelsea, which is about 45 minutes due west.
Just outside, just past Ann Arbor.
Yeah, and we went to the Jiffy Mix factory where they make Jiffy cornbread mix and baking mix, and many of you may be familiar with Jiffy. It's a wonderful product. It's from Michigan, so we're very proud. But we had never been to the factory, and they have tours where they actually make all the mixes.
We've been wanting to go.
Souvenir.
We've been wanting to go for a while, and it's the only one in the whole country that makes the Jiffy mix for everywhere, right?
Yeah.
They don't do any advertising.
Just a family-owned company in Chelsea. So, anyways,
we should have been making some Jiffy mix to go with this.
Oh, we could have. We'll do it. Well, we'll do a Jiffy mix side sometime.
Well, we're killing time to let this cool anyway.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Check this out. Oh, I can feel the
yumminess.
Look at that. Look at those potatoes. Look at that.
Look at those vegetables.
Okay, with the cheese. There it is. Look at that. I'm going to get another little scoop. Oh my gosh.
Look how it just kind of, it almost looks like
Smells
on your
great.
plate, it looks like a pot pie almost.
Again, and it's sort of, a lot of people think of this as a shepherd's pie, but we call it hamburger pie. It's the same idea.
Here in the colonies.
Yeah. So it is hot, so I'm gonna try to. Oh, that's good.
Is it hitting the spot?
You know what? If you like meat and potatoes, it's exactly, think about a pot roast, think about
hamburger,
meatloaf,
potatoes,
all those kind of meat and potato-y meals. This scratches that itch. Delicious. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it has a great look and feel and smell. Make your house just have a wonderful aroma.
So, we are going to sit down and enjoy our dinner.
Hamburger
this
pie.
Cool spring evening here in Detroit, but you know what? We had a great time putting this hamburger pie recipe together. Hope you had a great time being with us, and you know what? We'll see you next time on Cavalcade of Food. Bye.